Champion now, champion forever.
Get another one of these this year.
It's my year, man. Draft day. Let's get it.
Y'all ready to get fucked?
I'm the guy with the 48th pick as his first pick. It's gonna hurt this year.
It's my year.
Garrett Wilson better not fuck me over this year.
Fuck your mother.
Beginners.
You got out of it. You got out of it.
You're gonna fucking have fun. You're gonna have fun with us, Carter. Whether you like it or not. You're gonna fucking have fun with us. You're gonna come downstairs. You're gonna have a lot of fun with us. You're gonna love it. And you're gonna be like, thank God you guys ripped me out of bed.
Come on, Greg. We got you. We got you, big dog. We got you.
18 naked cowboys in the showers at Ram Ranch. Big herd throbbing cocks wanting to be sucked.
Pussy.
18 naked
pussy!
cowboys wanting to be fucked. Cowboys in the showers at Ram Ranch on their...
Oh, whoops. Sorry about that. Just doing a little art before I get my little recap going. What is up, Best Night Ever League? It's your boy T-Bay. Coming at you with that Week 8 recap. We're just going to start off with Cam and myself. Once again, I come out with the win, as I've been doing a lot this year, despite how shitty my team has been. Not that it fucking matters. It's, of course, the World Cup year, as we all know. And so record doesn't matter. Naturally, that's the year my team can somehow win, even though I kind of have a really shitty team. But everyone else just sucks against me. Cam not even breaking 100, kind of out of the norm for his team this year. We're going to start off with how my team went, or how they played. Anthony Richardson, probably the last start he will have on my team, coming out strong, 10 for 32 with a pick and a fumble. 9.5 points, solid. Anthony Richardson, really solid. That is the nail in the coffin for him. He's getting benched. Just absolutely terrible, an absolute bust. I absolutely want to fucking vomit every time I watch him play. But hey, we got Herbert over here. Herbert's kind of finally doing something this season. He comes out with 24 points for me, despite just having the worst offensive skill players outside maybe New England. Somehow he is able to still put up good numbers miraculously. The little 49 points or 4.9 points from the rushing was pretty cool. Don't expect that every week. But we had Brees, kind of a disappointment. I mean, the whole Jets team has been disappointing. So he only got 89 yards, no touchdowns for 9.5. Devon Achane, finally, thank you, Tua is back. He comes off with a big performance. Now that Tua is back, I'm super excited about that, and I frankly was desperate for him to return so Devon Achane could do something, because he has just been miserable those 4 weeks that Tua was out. So very happy to have him back. Debo, not doing a whole lot. He had a 70-yard touchdown called back from a fucking holding call. So 10.5 points from him. Amari Cooper, thank God I traded for him. Holy fuck. The Bills offense goes off, and he is just not there. He is just not there at all. Thrilled about that trade so far. Cade Otton, I'm super thrilled that he actually did perform now that there's no one else to throw the ball to. But Baker is just so good. He's going to throw the ball 300 yards a game, no matter who the fuck he's throwing to, whether it be Cade Otton or Rachaad White. Speaking of which, 12 points from him. He is okay, but now Bucky Irving is just eating into his usage, so that kind of sucks. I don't know which one to start. I just pray one of them gets hurt, but Pittsburgh defense, 16 points. They've been solid for me all year. Looking at Cam's team, underperformed. He traded for Jordan Mason, who did nothing. Both his quarterbacks, pretty disappointing week. Both under 12 points. Sucks for him. Kenneth Walker, I mean, the Seahawks, once they go down, they just completely abandon the run. Not that he could do much with his 9 carries anyway. Only 6.5 points for him. Ja'Marr Chase, pretty solid week. 9 catches, 54 yards and a touchdown, 16 points. Brian Thomas, he's been solid all year. He is looking to be one of the best rookie wide receivers this year. Dalton Kincaid, 11. Neighbors is kind of pulled back a little bit from his insane stretch they had those first 4 weeks of the season, getting 20-plus points weeks 2 through 4. It's kind of pulled back, and I mean, I'm not saying I expected this, but Daniel Jones could only keep a guy that good in fantasy for so long. But it doesn't really reduce the stock, in my opinion. He's still getting crazy targets. He needs those touchdowns to bolster those numbers a little bit. But yeah, so rough week for Cam. He had Jaden Daniels on his bench with 25, which that kind of stings. I understand the logic behind like benching him, but that's rough for Cam. But other than that, I somehow come out with another win that doesn't fucking matter. Moving on to Andrew and Hawk Tua. So Trevor Lawrence with a solid game, 24 points for him. Goff has just been just insane. The guy, 12 for 15 for 85 yards, 3 touchdowns. They put up 52 points. That offense is just crazy. If anything, they're just too good at running the ball. That just caps Jared Goff. But he's still been very solid this year for Andrew. Javonte Williams is just all over the place. You don't know what the fuck the guy's going to do. He's going to go for 2 points and 25 points and 7 points all over. DeAndre Swift has panned out immensely these past few weeks for Andrew. The Bears are just like feeding him, and I thought he was just totally a bum these first 3 weeks because they were still kind of feeding him, but he was averaging like 2 yards a carry. Now he's averaging like 5.5, 6 yards a carry these past 4 weeks for Andrew. That's massive. Really needed that. Devontae Adams still, last night, this is Friday, by the way, I'm a little late. Last night he did well, but this week Rodgers has just been a bum all season. So it's going to be tough to rely on Devontae, even though it's definitely better for Andrew that he's on the Jets now instead of the Raiders, of course, because believe me, I had him on the Raiders and he didn't get fucking traded. And this year he gets traded. Woohoo! Good for Andrew. I'm thrilled for him. So he sucked on the Raiders, take my word for it. But Romeo Doubs, just another guy who's just like, it just depends who Jordan Love feels like throwing it to that week. I get why Andrew was starting him, but with DK out still and his whole team just sitting in IR still, CMC, Pacheco, and DK. I don't think DK is in IR, but he's been injured for a while. Desperation play playing Dalvin Cook. Really rough one there, 2.5 points for him. But kicker and defense combined for 30. Massive, Andrew. Very nice. Kyler for Zach. We had Kyler who finally, as I decided to trade Marvin Harrison Jr. away, Kyler remembered he can actually throw the football. He comes out and throws the most yards he's thrown all year. 307 for 2 touchdowns. So great. Marvin Harrison's good now. All of a sudden, that's sick. Tua on his return he was chucking the ball a lot, but just not a ton fantasy-wise. 15 points solid. That CT's settling in, so we'll see how he does for the rest of the year. But their offense is definitely way, way better when he's out there. So good for Zach. Jonathan Taylor is going to be a stud for the rest of the season. He hasn't scored below double digits when he does play. And now that Joe Flacco's back, that offense is going to be way better. So I wouldn't be surprised if he's like a top 5 running back for the rest of the season. He's just like a workhorse. They feed him 20-plus carries just endlessly. Chuba Panthers experiment is kind of falling apart, but only 8 points for him. He's still been solid for Zach in this time of desperation for his team. Garrett Wilson with a really solid week. 5 catches for 113, 17 points. Zay Flowers with a really solid week. Just can't rely on old Zay. He's just all over the place. He either scores 18.5 or he scores 3 points. You never know with that guy. Trey McBride, who is probably still the best wide receiver. You draft Marvin Harrison Jr. 4th overall, but why would you throw the ball to him when you got this fucking guy, Trey McBride? Solid week for him, 20 points, 9 catches, and 124 yards. Jalen Waddle is going to be, all of his wide receivers are just these guys that you don't know what they're going to do. It's super shaky. Jalen Waddle will have a big game at some point, but he has been incredibly good. Look at that fucking smirk. Fuck that guy. I hated him last year. 6.5 for him. So Andrew comes away, or no, Zach ended up winning. Andrew's 1-7, so it's probably a safe assumption. Most weeks Andrew lost. Sorry, buddy. Here we go. Back to Michael and Oscar. So Michael's team, Darnold been very solid this year for Michael. He comes out with 18 points. Jordan Love, I think he got a little banged up that game. Yeah, he did miss some time. Only 5 points for him. Very disappointing performance for him. But Michael's the backbone of his team is the entire Detroit Lions running core. I mean, Gibbs and Montgomery are just a guaranteed like 40 points every week. Just insane. So Gibbs with 23 basically. Monty just vulturing touchdowns. Hardly any yards, like 40 yards total, but 2 touchdowns. Really nice for Michael to have both those guys. Jaden Reed, wow, he looked insane to start the year. I mean, not really. He went 35 first week, and he's just super boomer bust. But he has really pulled back these last couple of weeks, and especially if Love isn't 100%, that could be rough for Michael. But the whole Packers, just all their receivers, it's just you're never going to guess which one's going to go off that week. So very unreliable. Tyreek with Tua back had a decent game, the best game he's probably had. Obviously, best game he's had since Tua has been out. But 10 points for him. Bowers has been solid, very, very solid for Michael, but only 8.5 last week. Josh Jacobs with his insane breakout game this year. He has been solid. Very good trade. I don't know how he got that guy from camp for a second round pick, but he has been very solid. He is just always going to get usage. He's going to be kind of disappointing in some games, but he's just always going to be the guy for Green Bay, and he's on a good offense. So he is, like, I would say, locked in, like, top 10 running back for the rest of the season, unless he gets that goes for anybody. But, yeah, so Michael's team with a solid week, but we got Oscar with an even better week. 17 for Rodgers. Stafford with his receivers back. I mean, it's crazy. Stafford has just been balls, just ass. And then, imagine that. He gets his 2 top wide receivers back, and he comes out, and he's insane again. They beat Minnesota, very good defense. He puts up 24 against a really solid Minnesota defense. It's almost like wide receivers help your quarterbacks. That's crazy, LA Chargers. What the fuck are you guys doing? Anyways, we got Barkley. No touchdowns, but still 108 yards. Just a workhorse. Barkley has been probably... Yeah, I mean, he's running back 3, but he is just insane. Good call for Oscar drafting him. That was kind of a no-brainer, but he has not disappointed. He's insane. So 15 for him. Kamara also not disappointed. Has been insane, even though the Saints offense is kind of doo-doo. Derek Carr will come back. Not that he's going to help that much, but Kamara has been great. The trade rumors died down, so he's there at the Saints, and he is solid. Jacoby Myers, now wide receiver 1 for the Raiders, is going to do what he does. He gets standard like 14, 15 points. CD with a huge game this week. He is literally the only player on the Dallas Cowboys, so he is just a guaranteed top like 3 wide receiver for the rest of the season. He's just going to be so good. And last week, he did not disappoint, so... Huge game for him. That's kind of why Oscar won. Ingram 12, JSN 10. So very good week for Oscar. He comes away with the win. Michael's on like a 4-game or 3-game losing streak or something. Rough. Not that matters. World Cup. But next matchup, we got Jacob and Gregor. Gregor, he had a really rough. I mean, it's been rough for his wide receivers. He's lost 3 of his starting wide receivers this past week, but he still comes out with the win. Good for you, Gregor. And he didn't even start Baker. Baker's on his bench with 24. So for Gregor, we had Caleb Williams getting 9. Brock Purdy with a really solid game, 26. Bijan is finally living up to expectations these past 3 weeks, scoring over 20. Really happy for that, really happy for Gregor, because he has been so hyped, and finally that hype is cashing in. Tony Pollard, 13, not bad. He's been pretty good this year. Not bad at all. Devontae with a really solid game, 85 yards and a touchdown for 17.5. Gregor, I understand the logic, but this guy's the bum. Kate Otten is the guy in the Bucs, hate to tell you. Jalen McKillen with only 7 points. But George Kittle, now that there's no Ayuk, Kittle is gonna be, I could see him being like the best tight end at the end of the year now that Purdy's gonna throw the ball to somebody, and Kittle is actually good. So huge game for Kittle, 25. Diggs is out towards ACL, so last game for Diggs on Gregor's team, and he got him 10 points. So RIP Gregor's wide receivers. He is in a very tough spot with those wide receivers, so he's gonna be starting Cortland Sutton. But hey, they had solid games last week. Cortland Sutton, 15 points, not bad after a 0-point game 2 weeks ago. Darnell Mooney, not bad. So Gregor will be able to, he'll figure it out. Gregor's smart. I think I trust him. And you got Baker, so everyone was like, "Oh, Baker lost his wide receiver." He still goes out there and throws 37 for 50. Like, what the fuck? 330 yards still, and a couple of dumbass interceptions. But that's Baker. He's insane this year. So, but on the Jacobs team, starting Bo Nix. Bo Nix comes out and just torches Carolina. Not that that's saying a whole lot, but 30 points for Bo Nix. Very nice. Mahomes, outside of Anthony Richardson, he's probably been the most disappointing, I would say, quarterback. Not that he's been, like, unstartable, but no 20-point games at all, which is rough. I mean, considering he lost Rashee Rice, that's tough, but the Chiefs, their defense is just so good that Mahomes just doesn't have to go out there and throw for like 350 yards and 3 touchdowns every week like he did a few years ago. They are 7-0, and Mahomes is going to score you 15 points every week. So I would just say that's disappointing because Mahomes was like insane 2 years ago, scoring like 25 points almost every game. So James Conner, 14, Dobbins, 15, Amon-Ra. I mean, they just didn't throw the ball at all, but 7 points in a week where they score 52 points. That's just a little concerning because, like, the Lions, I mean, he's been really good this year, don't get me wrong, but, like, there's just these weeks where the Lions just, like, do not have to throw the ball at all because they can just feed their 2 running backs. But Justin Jefferson has not been disappointing. He has been very, very good this year. Just solid. He is like Cooper Kupp. He's just, or Michael Thomas, like any of those guys. He's just not going to score below 15 points for you. And Sam Laporta, finally, he's been incredibly, speaking of disappointments, he's been very disappointing, but hey, 14 points for him. That's his best game all year. Not bad, not bad. Brian Robinson, I don't know. Yeah, I think he got hurt midway through last game, maybe. He only played half the snaps, or maybe not. I don't know. Didn't watch it, but only 8 points for him. So, all in all, Gregor still manages to score 144 without 2 of his best wide receivers, and now he lost a third one. So, something to watch out for the future for Gregor now that his team is very, very injured. Why does it always send me out of the league page when I click on that? All right. Now, for the final matchup, we got Connor and Bobby. Connor's team doing what it does. When you got your quarterback and they can just shove his ass in the end zone 3 times, it's just crazy. It's just crazy. So Jalen Hurts scores 35 because he gets his ass pushed into the end zone 3 times in 1 week. Just amazing. I'm so happy for Connor. Lamar Jackson is going to be MVP fantasy-wise, certainly, maybe in the NFL. Kyron Williams has been as good as he was last year. He's insane. Hasn't scored under 10. Always gets a touchdown. Derrick Henry, been insane. What can you say about Connor's team outside of they are incredible? Scary Terry has been really good ever since he traded for him. Very solid. Cooper is back, and he got his, I mean, not a bad performance at all. 14 points, not bad. But Puka kind of looks like he's the best wide receiver on that team, but Cooper's going to get tons of work anyways. That Rams offense, I mean, sheesh. David Njoku, that I miss him. He's been solid, but now that I got Cade Otton, I miss him a little less. But now that Jameis is playing, I think Njoku is going to be a lot better, especially now that Murray's gone. But James Coco with a massive game. Holy shit, 111 yards, 2 touchdowns, 22 catches, or 22 receiving yards for 30 points. James Cook has been super good this year for Connor. So Connor comes out and scores 184. No big deal. That's kind of what he's been doing all year. What do you expect from the guy? His team is stacked. Bobby's team, solid week for him, 138 points. Josh Allen, below 20, but hey, still a good game for him. He has been, was he QB4 this year? Yeah, he's been solid. He hasn't had those crazy games where he runs for 80 yards and 2 touchdowns, but he's been throwing the ball real well. Even with his kind of shoddy receiving core, he's just going to make it happen, Captain. Dak has been very disappointing this year as opposed to last year where he was just like insane somehow. But he comes out with 12 points. The Cowboys are just complete poverty team this year. So, but Joe Mixon, man, is he the pick of the year? This guy, he doesn't score. If he plays the entire game, he scores at least 25 points. I mean, it's crazy. Outside of this week, last night's game, he scored 20. But he's just a touchdown machine. They feed him just so many 25. He's getting the ball 25 fucking times. I mean, who saw this coming? It's just insane. Joe Mixon has been absolutely huge for Bobby. If he didn't get him, his team would be looking a little rough. But A.J. Brown, only 11 points for him. Drake London has been really solid this year too, but he had an off week, only 5.5 for him. Kelsey finally doing something for old Bobby here. He got him 20 points, his best game all year. Najee has been another guy who I used to have who fucking sucked ass. He has been really good these past 3 weeks, 22, 19, and 17.5 this week. Now that Russ is back, baby, that offense is looking good. So good week for Najee. But Connor, who was going to beat Connor this week? I mean, really, this guy's insane. So all in all, this has been a very interesting year. Lots of injuries, as is tradition. I can't think of a year where at like week 8, it was like, wow, there hasn't been a lot of injuries. It's just every fucking year now. There's so many injuries. If we look at the standings, how the fuck do I look at the standings? What in the fuck? What? Why does it show points against but not points for? Fuck, Sleeper. Let me pause. All right, we're back. I just wanted to get the actual standings by points for, and the Sleeper shitty desktop UI doesn't let you do that. So I just want to take a look at what the matchups would be right now in Week 12 based on points for. Right now, it's really looking like Connor's locked into that number 1 spot. He's got a pretty solid lead on Cam, about 124-point lead on him. If my math is right, I think. But it's looking like I'm going to be playing Connor. You got to love that. This is what fantasy's all about. Rematches. We're throwing it back to last year. My team pulled off a absolute miracle last year, so I'm not banking on that happening again. Anything can happen, though. But looking at the number 2 seed, Cam has a pretty decent lead on Michael and Gregor. Now that Gregor's team is kind of done, I mean, not done. Sorry, Gregor. Now that he has lost 3 of his wide receivers, I would be shocked if he's going to make a big push at the end of this year. Anything can happen, though. It's fucking fantasy. But it's looking like Cam is locked in at that number 2 seed. At the number 9 seed, it's a race to the bottom between Jacob, Andrew, and Zach. As of now, it would be Zach, but he's only 5 points behind Andrew. Andrew's going to get CMC back at some point. Maybe he'll be decent. Who the fuck knows? But right now, I'm leaning towards it's going to be Zach or Andrew. Jacob's team has been solid these past couple weeks. I could see it being easily Zach or Andrew playing Cam for the 3rd and 8th seed playing. Right now, it's really between Michael and Gregor. Bobby could make a push. He's really close. He's only 70 points behind Gregor right now, roughly. Bobby could make a little push there and take that spot from Gregor. But Michael has got that lead right now. His team has been solid. So probably looking like it could be Michael versus Zach or Jacob for that 4th and 6th matchup. It's looking like it could either be Gregor, Michael, who knows? We're all over the place at this point. I really just wanted to take a rough look at what the seeding is as of now, how it could maybe change. But one thing I could almost certainly say that it's going to be Connor and myself playing for that week 12 matchup. So let me get back to Sleeper. Since that is the only matchup that's almost set in stone at this point, I just wanted to take a look at what the bye weeks would look like for each of us. I would have Breece on a bye, Cooper on a bye, not that he's going to do fucking anything. Anthony Richardson's on bye. Dang it. He's not going to be on my team at that point. But if we look at Connor's team for that week 12, he would have James Cook on a bye. So unless one of us trades those guys, either of those dudes to somebody else, we're both going to be missing one of our stud running backs. Obviously, he still has the edge. His team is still way better. Lamar is playing the Chargers. Their defense has been good, and he's got Derrick Henry. So maybe the Chargers lock him down. Those guys don't do anything. Who knows? And their passing defense has been terrible. So maybe, Herbert drops 30 against him. I don't fucking know. I'm just shooting shit. But that is really the only matchup that's set in stone. So I'm excited. Who wouldn't be excited? After last year, miracles happened for me. We'll see if another one does. I'm praying to God, but that is the landscape of the league right now. What that first week 12 matchup is going to look like. As the weeks go on, we'll have a better idea. But I'm so excited, just so excited. My team has been such dog shit. It can't get worse for me. It's only up from here. We'll see. But yeah, that's your little week 8 recap. Good luck to everyone, and I'll catch you later.